Hey everyone, it's Monday, January 16th, 2023, 7 p.m. here at the City Council Chambers at City Hall for the regular meeting of the City Council. Call the meeting to order and entertain the roll call, please.
Birgen.
Here I am.
Drenkow.
Here.
Meyers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Present.
Rathe.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
And Beaufore is absent.
Had a family medical situation come up, so we'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Move to Section D, the approval of the agenda.
I will move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Drenkow. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. The agenda is approved. Section E is public comments for items not on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the presiding officer. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any individual member. Anybody here for public comment this evening? See nobody your eyes, we'll move right into the consent calendar, item F. The following items will be acted upon by voice vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from the council or public requested a specific item be considered separately. Item 1, pay request from Constructions Material Testing for T-Hangar Taxilane Reconstruction 2022 for $8,755. Item 2 is a pay request from Modern Design Incorporated for Cedar River Park Baseball Softball for $800. Item 3 is cash disbursements for December 2022. Item 4 is a Class C retail alcohol license for Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Item 5 is ownership update for Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Item 6 is ownership update for Quickstar 707. Item 7 is ownership update for Quickstar number 286. And number 8 is an ownership update for Quickstar number 752. Entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar as read by the mayor.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Rathe. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section G, under regular business, item number 1 is the update from Grow Cedar Valley. I know we've got Ms. Carrie Dara, who's joined us this evening, and probably with some other colleagues of hers. Welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. I am Carrie Dara, President and CEO of Grow Cedar Valley, and we want to thank you for inviting us here tonight. We typically keep in touch with James and Mayor Hoffman, and it's nice to be here with all of you. So while we have been a regional and economic development organization for 18 years, and previously we were the Greater Cedar Valley Alliance and Chamber, and now Grow Cedar Valley, we have never lost sight of our mission to help grow the Cedar Valley economy. And that includes our surrounding communities, Waverly, and our communities to the south and east and west. So we've appreciated your support over the years, both financially and collaboratively. And we know as you go through your budget process that you would like to hear updates from us, and we're happy to do that. And that's our reason why we're here with you tonight. In addition to the city of Waverly and Wartburg College, we have several Waverly companies that are investors with Grow Cedar Valley and partners of our organization. And they recognize the need for collaborative regional partnership, and you'll hear more from our Vice President of Economic Development, Lisa Skubel, on that, and then also our Director of Talent Development, Stephanie Detweiler. We know that talent retention and recruitment is the priority for every company, every business, every organization across the state and across the country. So we're working hard to identify how we can remove some barriers, and right now Stephanie will give you some details on that as well. We've enjoyed having Mayor Hoffman and James Bronner at the microphone many times throughout the last several years at our Good Morning Cedar Valley, where quarterly we meet with close to 150 to 200 people that come to get updates from Waterloo and Cedar Falls in Waverly. And so we're happy to share that time with Waverly. We will soon be having the county give an update as well. Over the years, Grow Cedar Valley has recognized several Waverly companies in our annual award ceremonies. They include TDS Automation, Wartburg College, Reed Koenig from CUNA Mutual when he was CEO there, received the Business Person of the Year, and United Equipment, just to name a few. So I just wanted to include that just so you know that while we haven't been here in front of you very often, we have been very busy with a lot of your partners over the years. Each year, we also welcome a handful of participants from Waverly at our Cedar Valley Leadership Institute. Your area employers send those folks through each year. Usually CUNA and a couple of other Waverly employers send their emerging leader employees through their institute. And this year, Waterloo and Cedar Falls, and James and I have talked about this, applied for a Destination Iowa grant. It's a river project, and the grant itself at this time is to connect downtown Cedar Falls and downtown Waterloo. But the narrative of the grant includes, from the beginning, the vision. The bigger vision is to go north up to Waverly and south down towards LaPorte City and Gilbertville. So while we have a baseline project application in right now, it has been the plan and the vision all along to include our neighbors to the north and to the south. At this time, I'd like to introduce Lisa Skubel. She's our Vice President of Economic Development. She wants to share with you an update more specifically on the regional partnership and other economic development initiatives that we're working on. And then afterwards, if there are any questions, of course, we're here to answer those too. So, Lisa?
Thank you, Carrie, and good evening again. To echo Carrie's observations we have over the years, appreciate the collaboration with the City of Waverly. I think of all the economic development professionals over time as I sat there who we worked with and collaborated with, ahead of Bill, Jason Passmore comes to mind, Brent Mathias, among a few others. So we know our relationship goes back, and that collaboration has taken the form of many different things, whether it was direct or part of a group of individuals called the Cedar Valley Regional Partnership. Just some background on that, because that organization or that group is about 11 years old, maybe 12 now. But it was originally formed because we had an opportunity to get state of Iowa money from the Iowa Department of Economic Development. Debbie Durham was fairly new into the position, and wanted to create regional economic development collaboration initiatives. So thanks to the leadership and Intercog, we got together and started collaborating, worked out some issues of how we would collaborate and vote and agree on things. Needless to say, we all had a vote at the table, but we never really used it because we're all in agreement because it made sense. And that was a wonderful thing about it. When the money ran out, probably 6 years ago, from the state that is, we agreed that we needed to continue to collaborate. And that wasn't with or without the state's money in a donation or grant. We needed to continue to collaborate because that's what was needed. So we have since day one, and will continue to contribute to this regional effort. Annually, we contribute $12,500 to support regional initiatives, which the city is part of. All communities, all counties participate financially by the population size, and that makes it appropriate, so every county can have a seat at the table and pay what they're able to afford within their budget. 8 years ago, Grow Cedar Valley created Live the Valley website and Facebook page. So it would complement our existing employers' efforts to attract and retain their workforce. Often when we talk to HR directors and executives, they know how to sell their company to recruit individuals. But if they're talking to another generation that's different from theirs, they have different values. So instead of trying to figure out what those other values are, Live the Valley is really their toolkit to be able to have content, visuals, video that would relate to those different genres. Several years ago, the Cedar Valley Regional Partnership, including the city, approached Grow Cedar Valley about partnership with Live the Valley because of the reach and follow that Grow Cedar Valley has built up over the time. And without hesitation, we agreed. It just makes a lot of sense because we all share the same intellectual infrastructure, which is the workforce. We hope over those years, it has benefited over the last several years, the city of Waverly with a greater audience reach than they had before. Grow Cedar Valley has participated in a quarterly cost of living survey done nationally for well over 20 years. In the last 5, we put the cost of living calculator to work for us on Live the Valley's website. The purpose of that calculator, if you're not familiar with it, is for individuals to compare the cost of living here versus or against other parts of the U.S. by income. And that has been successfully used, especially during the pandemic, with people relocating or coming back home with their families. The City of Waverly has been a great partner with this Live the Valley calculator over the past several years by pricing items from the cost of a new home to half a gallon of whole milk to ensure the cost of living calculator reflects living and working in Waverly and Bremer County. We subscribe, Gross Cedar Valley subscribes to that national subscription to be able to have that calculator and rights to have it on Live the Valley's website. Last year, we chose, excuse me, my notes. 5 years ago, Gross Cedar Valley created a biannual publication entitled Live the Valley. The purpose of that publication was to complement the website that had already been active for the past 6 years previous to that. And that was to promote what it's like to live and work in the Cedar Valley, something that people would have in hand to be able to hand out to hospitals, private employers, so they can hand that out to prospective candidates that were considering relocating here or bringing their family here as well. The way it worked is that there was no cost for the publication, so we were giving it free to these employers and to these hospitals, and it was paid through advertising. Last year, we switched it up a little bit. We collaborated with the publishers of Livability magazine, and Waverly County actually has been very part of that. She helped proofread the publication last fall, as well as identifying photo ops in Waverly for the Livability's photographer when he was visiting this summer and taking shots. We are going to be asking Waverly for even more input on content ideas for this 2024 initiative. The edition of the magazine couldn't cover everything, so we want to make sure those communities and counties not highlighted as much receive some coverage. For the last several years, Livability has partnered with Iowa Economic Development on a similar annual statewide publication, and it's important to align ourselves with IEDA's initiative where it makes sense for our region, and that's why we partnered with them. Because Livability is a full-service media and content marketing firm, and it gives Waverly and the other communities greater exposure through content and pictures. Stephanie will speak in a moment on what Gross Cedar Valley is doing to promote the digital and print Livability publication further. For the last 10 years, Gross Cedar Valley has had a job board on their website. It's just available to investors. Several years ago, each of our county partners wanted one as well. So through the regional partnership, that was able to be realized and paid for. We continue to have ours for a while. And quickly, our region partners they realized they would get more job views if they integrated to Gross Cedar Valley's job board. So to increase their visibility of the jobs that they had posted. And we agreed with that as well. And just to give you some context of that reach, on Gross Cedar Valley's platform, in the last 6 months, our job board has had 5,013 job views of different postings, so we're hoping that was able to transcend to Waverly positions as well. In the spring of 2021, Gross Cedar Valley undertook a Cedar Valley wage and benefit survey in response to employers' concerns of trying to be competitive toward the end of the pandemic by increasing their wage rate at an appropriate amount to not only retain their workforce but attract new ones. Organizationally, we didn't have this budget for it. In fact, we were probably heading toward the end of our fiscal year. We're going to have strategic solutions out of UNI conducted for us and found out to create something like that from scratch, it's going to cost about $25,000. Thanks to some COVID CARES money, a grant we received from Intercog for $10,000 and a matching grant from UNI for $5,000, we're able to reduce our out-of-pocket expense to $10,000, which made it doable. Waverly staff was part of vetting the questions and direct outreach to Waverly businesses to complete the questionnaire, ensuring the survey results could also reflect Bremer County employees. employers, excuse me. It was validated when it came out. Employers said, this is exactly what you folks need to be doing out there and doing it regionally. 6 months later, site selection consultants said the same thing. The shelf life of the survey is typically about 2 years before it needs to be updated. Stephanie is reviewing right now with you and I the timing of a new survey, which the City of Waverly will be partners with us again on that if they'd like. Annually, been working with the Institute of Decision Making and you and I to produce an existing business report. It's a compilation of, you've probably seen it before, Bill and Connie provided it to you, an annual compilation of what's on the minds of our existing businesses, threats and opportunities. Because we share the same intellectual infrastructure, the similarities of what our existing businesses are telling us are similar as well when we get together and talk. So we will continue to do that. We have some challenges statewide with the platform that we used in the past to aggregate the data, but regardless of what that platform looks like, we want to continue to be generating those regional reports for you that includes informational Waverly businesses. And lastly, in March 2022, Gross Cedar Valley, Hawkeye Community College, UNI, ISU, Cirrus, we all began to partner with manufacturer leaders in the Cedar Valley to relaunch Cedar Valley Manufacturers Association. This is an industry-led association that will prioritize common issues for the industry. Their areas include collectively advocating for aligning Hawkeye Community College's new industrial training program called Ignite, and that's aligning it between lower and higher education, and building a funnel of manufacturing workforce starting at the grade school level through high school, making presentations about career opportunities and what they could expect by today's manufacturers and the innovation that's taking place every day within their four walls. This small group of manufacturers is already planning to expand membership into the surrounding counties in the region, including Waverly. So with this new revised initiative, that will create further new opportunities for collaboration with Waverly in the immediate near future. So I'll stop right now and have Stephanie come up. Again, she's going to take a deeper dive on what we're doing on promoting and marketing the Live the Valley publication that's currently out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Detweiler. I have been with Gross Cedar Valley for since September, so just under 6 months now. Previously, I worked for Target Corporation in HR, so I have about 10 years of HR experience prior to this role. I'm the Workforce Solutions Coordinator, that's my title. I'm just going to briefly talk about a few things that we're working on from a workforce standpoint, but then like Lisa mentioned, really focus on the Live the Valley campaign that we have. So obviously workforce is one of the most important things for our businesses in the area. It's definitely a hot topic. Not having enough people, different generations in the workplace. So as I've come into this role, a couple of the things that I've been focused on are HR visits. So I'm meeting with HR professionals of companies throughout the Cedar Valley. My goal was, when I started to the end of June when our fiscal year ends, is to meet with at least 30. Currently I've met with 3 from Waverly, so CUNA, the Excel Group, and Wartburg. So I've met with HR professionals from there. And my goal with those meetings is really to build a relationship with with HR, but also to understand the workforce and the businesses at a deeper level. So just some insight for you, the themes that I've heard from actually all 3 of those businesses is that they feel like their biggest problem with their workforce is staffing, finding good candidates, and also retention of the current workforce too, which is very similar to all the other businesses that I've talked to. So that's kind of our focus, and that's really what's driving my work. Outside of the HR visits, one of the other things that I'm doing is I've created a workforce advisory committee. So instead of me going out there and deciding the things that I think we need to do in this community to help attract and retain people to the Cedar Valley, I've got a committee that's formed of HR professionals in the area. Currently I have 6, which I wanted to start off small, and then hoping to grow it to closer to 20 people. And I have identified, I think 3 individuals from Waverly businesses that I want to be a part of that group too, and that I've already communicated with. So just so you know, there is representation for this community as well. But one of the biggest things that we've already been doing is what Lisa mentioned, is the Live the Valley campaign. So our Director of Communications, Nicole, since she's come just a couple months ago, she's been in role. Her and I have worked really closely together on this Live the Valley campaign is what we call it. And really the whole point of the campaign is to attract and retain people here in this area, in the Cedar Valley, to strengthen our workforce, because we know workforce is a problem. And we want to keep people here. We also want to attract people here. So we've come up with a few different things, or actually 5 different components, we call it, to the campaign. And our primary audience is HR professionals and people that recruit people to the area. Our secondary audience would be like tourism, to try to like help, share what there is to do in this area. But the different components, so one of them was what Lisa mentioned, is the Livability magazine. So that did come out, a couple months ago. And we really kind of worked at how can we get this out? Who are the right people to get this magazine out to? We had 5,000 copies to distribute, and we've distributed about 4,000 of those. So we have 1,000 left. And the ones that we have left are really kind of focused for relocation packets for HR professionals as needed. They can contact us. But also some realtors and hotels that we need to get those to as well. The other thing, like I mentioned, relocation packets, that's another component that we're focusing on, is having a relocation packet for the Cedar Valley. So if individuals or HR professionals want to, utilize a tool to help attract people to the area, they can reach out to us at Grow Cedar Valley and we can get them those packets. The Live the Valley website relaunch is another thing Lisa mentioned. So along with the Cedar Valley regional partners, we have relaunched our website of Live the Valley. And so it kind of just, after a little time, didn't have as many updates to it. So now we've updated it. We've put the Livability digital copy on there. And we're still going to continue to elevate it and update it even more. But that's a great tool. Like Lisa was mentioning, the cost of living calculator. There's a lot of great tools on there if people are looking to move to the area. The 4th component is a coaster campaign. So we put some out in our communication about this campaign, but basically we had a local artist create art on coasters, and we had done this previously with Grow Cedar Valley about 6 years ago. And we put them into local businesses around the holidays, and we did put some here in Waverly as well. And the whole point was to kind of create excitement and buzz about life in the Cedar Valley. But then also on the back, there's a QR code that directs them to the Live the Valley website to get more people kind of going to that website. And so Nicole and I really, our vision is that we continue to do more with those coasters and continue to get different local artists to be the ones that create them. And we want to focus on kind of having it be more event-based. So maybe when there's big events going on, then we have coasters, artwork created for those events. So one of the things we actually just talked about was maybe Oktoberfest in Waverly. Like when that's coming around, we have an artist that could create some sort of coaster for that to help promote it and put it in the businesses around here. And then the last thing is on the website, we are going to start having kind of a influencer or spotlight series of different people that live here in the Cedar Valley. Just for them to talk about like why do they like living here, what are their favorite things to do, again to create that excitement about living here in the Cedar Valley. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your attention, and we are done with our comments, but if you have any questions either now or later, you can get a hold of me or through James or Mayor Hoffman or Bill. We go to DC on the coalition trip, so I see Bill all the time too. So, but if anybody has any questions or input, or if there's anything you heard tonight that you think you have some observations that you'd like to share that maybe we could put into what we're working on, that we could really appreciate your input too. So are there any questions at this time? I know you have more on your agenda, but we're happy to entertain any questions at this time, or we're happy to talk to you later.
So one question I have is you're talking about your Live the Valley website. I know we also have our locally grown Welcome Home Waverly. Are there links between those two? Can they find the Welcome Home Waverly website via the Live the Valley website?
We certainly could. I mean, we have links.
Link off of the Valley website.
We certainly could host. We do have others that have asked to have links on that website, so we certainly could do that, for sure.
And of course, vice versa, you know.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, we're all about collaborating, and if anybody has heard me speak before, since I've been in this position, what Grow Cedar Valley is really committed to is not owning everything, but recognizing really great projects, great ideas, great initiatives, and how can we help make it happen, whether we own it or not. It's important that we work together and make sure that we can elevate all those great ideas and get them completed, so.
one of the things that I appreciate that I saw at the last, quarterly meeting that we had down at Sunnyside was the involvement of, quote, non-member communities, inviting, I mentioned this on the radio this morning, inviting in the mayor from Evansdale to give a community snapshot and update of what's going on there, and then kind of round-robining that between some of those smaller communities and getting them engaged and just articulating that they have a place at the table too, even though they're not at the forefront of the big three, I guess you could say.
Yep.
So,
Yep, absolutely. We have
That is
Hudson
nice.
too. We have,
Yep.
Grundy Center. We've got, we have relationships with a lot of these communities because again, especially with the regional partnership that Lisa mentioned earlier with the 6-county regional partnership, that is really important that we make sure that all of those folks feel comfortable at the table.
anything else? Otherwise, I do have one final comment. I just wanted to publicly recognize the great loss with Ms. Wubina.
Thank you.
From the organization and what she provided to your organization and the community. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, great loss.
A huge loss.
So,
Yep. We are committed to making sure we do keep Betty's good work going. So it's a big lift because she was in
Yep.
her position for 32 years. So a lot of institutional knowledge we're trying to recreate. So
Absolutely.
but thank you for your
You'll do
for your
fine,
thoughts.
so.
Thank you.
Thank you for
But
your
again,
partnership.
we're always welcome to either come up. You probably don't need to hear from us for half an hour every time, but we are happy to provide whatever information you might need. And again, I know we've appreciated your financial support over the years, and we know you need to be able to justify that as you go through your budgeting process. So if there are any additional questions about what we're doing or how we're using your investment, we're happy to visit with you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
You bet. Thanks.
I'm not going to request that you leave, but you're more than welcome to leave because we have got closed session, so.
We're good.
Yep. All right, moving to item 2 under regular business is Resolution 23-10, approving a professional services agreement with WHKS and Company for the 2023 vehicle and trail bridge inspections. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 23-10, approving a professional services agreement with WHKS and Company for the 2023 vehicle and trail bridge inspections on an hourly not-to-exceed fee of $13,750, including expenses.
Second.
Motion by Meyers, second by Birgen. Council discussion?
So this is the mandated inspection. Will this, what kind of insight will this give us into what kind of action council could possibly take on that bridge? Will this tell us that?
Well, the vehicle bridges are the mandatory requirement to have the federal bridge inspections. So most of ours are new box culverts because those qualify as well if they're wider than 20 feet. So the trail bridges, this is going to be a little more in depth. We voluntarily inspect these every 4 years, and this is where we're hoping for that insight as to what we can expect for longevity out of them, maybe what some economical, worthwhile repairs may be to extend that. But the trail bridges certainly are the area of concern. Our vehicle bridges are really for the most part, in pretty good shape. We did add 2, and we've done these before. Because they don't fit the criteria for being wide enough, the 1924 bridge over the Dry Run Creek on First Street Southwest. That's getting up there in age, and it's showing some signs of distress that we want to kind of keep an eye on and get a better feel for what that remaining life may be. The other one is a box culvert on 20th Street Northwest. This is from the rugby field where the drainage goes underneath the highway, but then it goes underneath that little stub street coming off the highway. That is a wooden box culvert, so we think that one may date back to, again, the 1920s or 1930s, and so that's one that we want to keep an eye on and start to regularly inspect. So, does that answer?
Could you explain the map on page 3?
Sure.
Because, for example, the box culvert you were just discussing isn't on this map. I don't see any of the bridges along the bike trail on this map, so I'm wondering what this map is actually showing.
This shows the ones that are required to be inspected. The federal,
Okay.
they have a federal bridge number assigned to them, and so they are required to be inspected every 2 years.
So these are the ones that we're required to do, plus we have a bunch of optional ones that we're choosing to do in addition.
Yep, and this also has state and county shown on here.
I see the 3rd Street Bridge is like a dark circle there.
Yeah. So first of all, this map is probably from 2 years ago or 4 years ago, so it's, I will provide you a new updated map when we present the report, which will occur in April or May, and that's where WHKS is on board to come down and again review the inspection report with the City Council and give you an opportunity to ask some questions.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
On a vote of 6-0 and 1 absent, Resolution 23-10 is approved. Brings us to item 3, Resolution 23-11, approving a Plat of Survey for Parcel F, located at 2516 12th Street Northwest, Waverly, Iowa. Entertain a motion.
I would move approval of Resolution 2311, approving a Plat of Survey for Parcel F, located at 2516 12th Street Northwest, Waverly, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Kangas, second by Birgen. Council discussion. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
On a vote of 6-0 and 1 absent, Resolution 23-11 is approved. Item 4, Resolution 23-12, approving a Plat of Survey for Parcel UU and Parcel VV, located at 1312 Gavin Drive, Waverly, Iowa. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 23-12, approving a plat of survey for parcel UU and parcel VV located at 1312 Gavin Drive, Waverly, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any.
I just want to point out to those people who might be watching this on television or listening on whatever device they have, that both this plat of survey and the one that we just approved were both unanimously approved by planning and zoning, which I'm sure that they did a very thorough job of vetting those applications, as did our city staff. I have not heard of anyone, and I have no personal reason why there would be any difficulty with approving these, but I just want people to know, I know sometimes we zip through these things pretty quickly when they're not anything that is of any kind of difficulty. So I just want to know that, these have all been vetted, and this is the final thing, and there's really no reason for us to re-vet these kinds of resolutions, so.
Okay.
I just had a question for clarification. It's such an oddly shaped lot. and I wasn't real certain what part they're proposing to separate to build on. Is it on that very last page, the big yellow map? Is it that long trapezoidal piece?
Actually, if you go back to the Plat of Survey, you can see the parcels that are, because these are the lot lines that are now.
Oh, it's the one on the corner. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, that helps.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Meyers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
On a vote of 6-0 and 1 absent, Resolution 23-12 is approved. Section H, reports from boards and commissions. Items 1 and 2 are Planning and Zoning Commission minutes from November 3rd and December 1st, 2022. Items 3 and 4 are Human Equity and Diversity Commission minutes of November 8th and December 13th, 2022. Number 5 is Waverly Public Library Board of Trustees minutes of December 13th, 2022. And item 6 is the monthly financial report of December 2022 received into the record. Section I is staff updates. We have anything, sir?
I don't believe anything tonight, sir.
All right, we'll move forward with city council comments with Ms. Meyers.
Nothing for me?
Mr. Birgen?
Two things. First of all, I'd like to remind people that the cost of a first-class stamp goes up on Sunday. So if you're the sort of person who likes to buy your forever stamps while they're cheap, this would be the week to do it. My second thought, so hopefully we all heard the news that 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago, Barbara Walters died at the age of 93. And I was always struck by a little piece of trivia that Barbara Walters, Martin Luther King Jr., and Anne Frank were all born in the same year, 1929. So while we have Barbara Walters, who lived to the ripe age of 93, Anne Frank and Martin Luther King Jr. both died of racial violence. Today's Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, so it's a good time to reflect on these things. This is not something that happens just in the past. We've had Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Ahmaud Arbery, lots of current people still die from racial violence. So these are things to keep in mind on this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, that there are still lots of people whose lives are cut short due to racial violence, and something to rectify in the future. So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Nothing.
All right. Mr. Drenkow?
I'll pass.
All right. Ms. Rathe?
No, thanks.
I apologize extremely. I just bypassed right over to get right into the business of the evening, but welcome.
Good to be here.
Any parting words this evening before you come back for a study session next week?
No, sir.
All right. Well, Mr. Kangas?
I guess I was going to kind of echo along with Mr. Bergen's comments about Martin Luther King Jr. Day and his famous speech talking about valuing or judging people by the content of their character and not by the color of their skins. And I just worry that at times we get bogged down by superficial things like that rather than taking time to get to know each other and learn about each other and make decisions in informed ways, as opposed to simply by what sports team you like or what political party you are, or color of your skin, certainly.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, so thank you. Only comment that I had this evening, we do have an opening all of a sudden on the Airport Commission, so I don't think it's any recourse to change of the council liaison, but we do have an opening there, so get online, apply, so we can make that consideration. Moves us to section L, executive session. Item 1, to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session. Entertain a motion.
I'll move that we enter into executive session.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe?
Yes.
Meyers?
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 with one absent. We have entered into executive session. Thank you.